On today's episode, I'm going to talk about 3 great stocks at a great price right now. These are stocks that I purchased. Like many of you, I put money into my account to work on a weekly basis. So every week, I'm looking for either new investments or adding to current positions. This week, I bought 3 stocks, all in different markets. We're going to take a look at one in the e-commerce, in the electric vehicle, and also in the autonomous vehicle market. And if you ever want to know when I buy or sell, feel free to join my Discord channel. It's free to anybody that wants to join, and the link should be down below. For each stock, we will do the following. First, we're going to take a quick look at the graphs and some technicals. Then we're going to try to understand what they do and look at some recent news. And after that, we're going to take a look at their future and past growth, as well as some other financial numbers. So this is the part where I normally spend about 45 seconds to a minute explaining why you should like the video, check out my socials and Patreon. But for the next few days, I want to use it to try to make a difference. Right now, there are tons of kids asking Santa for happiness. This year has been pretty rough for many people, and usually kids don't understand why. And if you're watching this video, it probably means you are blessed like me to continue to put money to work in the market. And I just want to say there are easy ways to give back to the community. One method my wife found is USPS Santa Operation, where kids write to Santa and you can read the letter and adopt the child and send them a gift. I'm sure there are other methods out there, but I just want to use this platform for this. Now, I hope you guys don't mind that short off topic, and let's get back to the episode. All right, so the first company we are going to take a look at is Niu Technology. No, not NIO. This is ticker NIU. Year to date, this stock has given about 241%. And right now, it is down from its all-time high. From its all-time highs, it is down about 17%. Right now, it's sitting at about $29.81, and it has a market cap of about $2.23 billion. This is the company in the electric vehicle market. I don't know if you guys have seen, ARK has recently started to buy NIU, but if you guys want to go back to my catalog, I have actually been talking about NIU since July of 2020, and since it was actually July 2nd. So since July 2nd, this company has returned 63%. So make sure to hit that subscribe button if you guys want to learn about more growth stocks before they begin to pop. All right, so when looking at technicals, I am looking for 2 things. First is the stock overextended, and we can see right now the stock price is actually sitting at its moving averages, which is a great thing. It's telling me the stock is not overextended, so it's giving me a great time to buy. The second thing I'm looking at is there a lot of volume where the stock is sitting right now, and we can see right now within this 28, high 20s, actually anything above 27, we're seeing a lot of volume within those stock prices. That means a lot of investors are buying in and selling around those price points. So it's giving me a form of step or support within these stock prices. And we can see right now it's been sitting at this level of about $28.36. This is a company that has been in my portfolio for a long time. It has done great returns for me. Like I mentioned, I bought this stock at around $18, $19, and I've been averaging up every so often. So I don't mind, even though it's been overextended from my original cost basis, I still believe in the potential of this business. So I continue to average up when I believe it is a great time to buy. And for me right now, it is a great time to add. For those not familiar with NIU, they are an electrical scooter company. They right now mainly focused in China. I do believe about 92% of their sales come from China, but they are expanding international to Europe and South America, which I believe are great countries and great continents for them to move and expand this market, right? We have some countries with overpopulation going on that having a car just doesn't make sense because the amount of traffic going on in those major cities, that an electric vehicle a lot easier to move, don't have to worry about gas as well, makes it more convenient for a commuter, and with it being smaller size and being an electric vehicle as well. So you can see that they have different types of product. You can go to their website, and I always recommend taking a look at a company's website to try to understand what they do. So they have different types of series. Now, if we take a look at their most recent earnings, saw revenue growth of about 36.7% compared to the same time last year. Just a reminder, this is during COVID times. So even during COVID times, people are still seeing huge growth in this market. E-scooter sales increased 70.2% compared to the same time last year. E-scooter sales volumes reached about 245,000 in China. Like I mentioned, in China, this makes up 92% of total companies' revenue. But they are hitting the international market, and the international market is up 35.2% compared to the same time last year. In China, the market is up 39.2% compared to the same time last year. They also make money from selling from services, accessories, and spare parts, and that is up 20.2% compared to the same time last year. As we can see, overall total revenue is up 36.7% compared to the same time last year. They have increased the amount of franchise stores in China. They're up 182 compared to just last quarter, and they did expand to 36 distributors covering 46 different countries. And if you guys don't know, they have made it really easy for one to purchase these scooters. They're even partnered with, I believe, JD.com and other e-commerce, where you can go as simple as go to their website and purchase one of these scooters. One of the reasons this company is down a nice amount from its all-time highs is Q4. They gave a guidance that shows only a year-to-year increase of about 5 to 15%. So it's not showing that strong growth as we saw in the previous quarters, but that's okay. I believe the overall exposure to international markets is going to be a future moving growth for this company. Now, if we take a look at future growth for NIO, they are expected to grow revenue 27.5% on average for the next 3 to 5 years. They're also expected to continue to grow their earnings. We can see NIO is already profitable. They are positive from cash flow from operations, and that revenue growth is outstanding. If we take a look at their financial statement, they have about 1.3 billion in Chinese yuan compared to $180 million in debt. So they have a lot more cash than debt. They are profitable, and they have a great balance sheet. The main thing, and if we take a look at historical growth, in 2019, NIO grew 38%, in 2018, 83%, in 2017, 127%. We can see margins have been improving, both gross and profits. This is the true story of a growth stock, and this is why I enjoy investing in growth stocks. Not the only companies I invest in, but it's definitely a huge portion of my portfolio. The biggest, in my opinion, the biggest weakness or the biggest risk with NIO right now is one international company. It is a Chinese company, so that tension risk and everything going on right now might be giving us a great value on some international and emerging markets. The second risk I want to say is there's obviously competitors within this market. So that's something, but I do believe by being ahead of the curve, by seeing this strong revenue growth, it gives them some form of advantage. Like I mentioned, right, I take a look at all companies. The second stock we are going to take a look at is Amazon, ticker AMZN. This is right now sitting at $3,200, and it has a market cap of $1.6 trillion. You may be like, Jose, why are you talking about a company that's over $3,000 per share? If right now you are not in a broker that has fractional shares and you have less than $100,000, $200,000 in your account, you should find a new broker. Fractional shares is probably the greatest thing for us small retailers. And when I say small retail investors, I mean anybody below $100,000, $200,000 in their account. So right now, year to date, Amazon has given a great return, 70% year to date. And from its all-time highs, it is down, I want to say, about 10%. So there has been a few pullback. We can see in the past few months, Amazon has actually not moved a lot, and that's why I'm very excited. Amazon is a beast, and they were moving a lot during this whole COVID situation because they were a COVID stock, this whole e-commerce clouding market. But I do believe right now eyes are looking at other companies. They're looking at the electric vehicles. They're looking at the marijuana. They're looking at the vaccines and all these stocks that people are no longer looking at these e-commerce, which are still doing amazing results. Amazon, for those that don't know, make its money three ways. First is North America sales, then international sales, and then the clouding sales. Even though clouding sales makes up the smallest portion of the company's total sales, it actually makes up more than half of the total net income. And that to me is crazy. AWS is a machine that is continuing to move, continuing to see strong growth. Amazon's most recent earnings saw revenue up 37.3% compared to the same time last year, and they gave a Q4 guidance that blows the overall consensus. Their low end of their guidance was actually what the consensus was for Amazon. Now let's take a quick look at the charts. I forgot to do that. But Amazon, first thing, is it overextended? I can see right now it is sitting at its moving averages, which is great news for me. The second thing is we're seeing strong volumes within this area. Again, it's showing me that, hey, investors, ever since I want to say July of 2020, so almost 6 months ago, the stock price hasn't really moved. So again, many people consider e-commerce a bubble, and a bubble doesn't necessarily always have to pop. What could happen is exactly what's happening now, is the stock price just kind of stays still for a long time, and about 6 months it's been pretty still, and then we can see the moving averages come closer to them and come closer to them. So I do believe now I've waited enough time. I've entered, I think last week or 2 weeks ago was my first purchase on Amazon. And this week I decided to add on to my position. Now, if we take a look at future growth for Amazon, Amazon is expected to grow 15.1% on average for the next 3 to 5 years. And they're also expected to continue to grow their earnings. If we take a look at this graph, like I mentioned, Amazon right now is profitable. It has plenty of cash flow from operations and that huge revenue growth. Now, if we take a look at their balance sheet, it is also pretty amazing. They have about $70 billion in cash, and they have about half of that in debt. So they have more cash than debt. They also have profitable earnings and positive cash flow from operations, and just hitting amazing markets right now, especially with that clouding AWS. I probably believe is my favorite thing about Amazon. If we take a look at historical growth for Amazon, it's just been a monster. In 2019, it grew 20%. In 2018, it grew 30%. In 2017, it grew 30.8%. So imagine, this is a huge company growing at double-digit growth. If we take a look at their margins, they have been increasing their gross margins and profit margins as time goes on for this company. And this is taking a look at trailing 12 months history. Then if we take a look at operating cash flow margins, it is improving over time. Again, looking at trailing 12 months, operating cash flow margins are almost 16%. This is amazing in my opinion for a company like this. Now the third company is one that I've talked about before, but one that I kind of say was overpriced when I talked about it. And this is gonna be Luminar Technology. This is a new investment for me, ticker LAZR for laser. And right now it is a recent SPAC and has a market cap of about $9 billion. If we take a look at year to date, obviously from that SPAC price, it is up about 173%. But from its all-time highs, it is down about 32%. And I did talk about it when it was $41.80. And I did say that, hey, Luminar is a stock I enjoy right now, but it was too highly priced for me. And I kind of wanted to wait for a better price point to enter. And I just waited a few days. And that stock price is now at a price point that I feel comfortable adding. Unfortunately, I could have purchased at an earlier date, but like I said, I put money to work on Thursdays or Fridays. So because I didn't have that money available to me, I had to wait till Thursday or Friday to purchase. For those not familiar with Luminar, is they are pretty much in the autonomous market. They create sensors, which are pretty much mainly dealt with lasers and other form of sensors to kind of get a radar of sense. And here, this is something that a lot of autonomous vehicles are using to create full autonomous level 5 vehicles. And there have been a lot of people that, not a lot of people, there have been a few mouths that kind of go against this. They don't believe Luminar is the future. One of those main persons is Elon Musk. He believes that you just need cameras to do this autonomous driving, but almost every other car maker believes that LiDAR sensors are the future for autonomous vehicle, that it is better to pair up the LiDAR with cameras and make a stronger system. The major driving force away from LiDARs right now is pretty much the cost. They are very expensive, but as we know in technology, as things progress, they do get cheaper. So another reason, at first I was like, okay, autonomous, all these automakers are believing in the system. But Elon Musk, because it's this super genius, doesn't. So what obviously in my mind, I would kind of follow more Elon than other automakers, even though they have plenty of scientists, they have plenty of engineers working this, and they believe that hey, this is the future. There's some backing or some stain behind that. But what really got me into LiDAR, one, I used to work at a laser company. We actually worked with Luminar before. So I've had some experience with Luminar in my past career. But also, Intel with their mobile eyes are using LiDAR, and Intel now, that is a whole complete different beast. Those are a whole different league of engineers at Intel. So if those engineers believe that, hey, LiDAR is the future, they have partnered up with Luminar, then that tells me something is strong about this technology that we should keep an eye on. So that's why I am moving into Lazr, and that's why into Luminar, and that's why I ended up buying a new position. Luminar right now is expected to continue to grow at super high levels, 63.5% on average for the next 3 to 5 years. Unfortunately, it is not expected to be profitable anytime soon or have cash flow from operations that are positive. If we take a quick look at their balance sheet, they have about $170 million in cash and about $30 million in debt. So they have a lot more cash than debt, even though they are not profitable right now. As long as they have a strong balance sheet, that's a-okay for me. And the major risk right now for Luminar is the following. I do believe that Intel and all these other companies, once they're right now going to develop their own chips or their own LiDAR systems. One thing I could see Luminar seeing is kind of licensing some of their technology to kind of still be able to have some piece of the pie, one can say. Or another way is they're right now just so advanced in the technology that it'll be very hard for the other guys to come in and kind of grab some market share. So there is some risk behind Lazr, and there are always risks within investing. So I hope you guys enjoy. These are the 3 stocks I purchased this week. Make sure to subscribe, make sure to like the channel, and let me know in the comments below what are some of the stocks you recently purchased. Take care and have a good night.